Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Excited to jump into the June monthly market update. This is the more national market update. My name is Kenny Simpson with the Simpson team. I am a loan officer with C2 Financial. I focus on 1 to 4 unit properties. If you didn't know, if I haven't met you, nice to meet you. If you're listening to this again and you hear all my content, I apologize. You have to always listen to my voice. Just kidding. I always get excited for these market updates. We look month over month. We've got great data. We just look at data and we study it and we talk about it and we see what's going on. Also, a couple notes. I also have a podcast with my wife, Getting the Cash Flow Game with K&K. If you're not checking that out, I believe you're missing out. Check it out. Also, what else is going on? We're going to probably jump into this. I'm excited. Obviously, there's a talk about rates. There's a talk about inventory rising. There's a talk about not market corrections. Well, some of the markets are talking about correcting. You know, some of these states, people are starting to spout out Austin's going to have a correction. We're starting to see price reductions here in San Diego. You know, a little bit of a flattening, let's call it. And obviously, inflation is still out of control. We're all dealing with that. As I'm shooting this, I noticed gasoline is, the station I was at has a 7 in front of it and 6. So yeah, officially $7 or something, $7.50 I think I saw for diesel. So yeehaw to all of us. But, once again, if you want a copy of this, please hit us up. Please share this with anybody. If you're realtor, real estate investor, homeowner, anybody, this is a great, this is a great market update. Monty helps me put together and we go through all the data and let's jump into it. So as I mentioned, this is a June market update. Remember, we're always looking backwards. So it's really May. How to reach me. You got all my information there. I just told you who I am. Please reach out anytime. You have any questions about real estate, financing, all that stuff. If you don't know more about me, there's probably the bio somewhere on a website. You can find me and read more about me. Guess what, guys? It's all about mortgage rates. So as I know from studying this and being in this industry for 18 years, interest rates dictate everything. And as we know by now, interest rates really, as we're seeing, dictate a lot in the world. For example, interest rates don't just affect real estate. Interest rate affects the stock market. Interest rates are affecting startup venture capitalists. For example, if 2021 was along and you're a venture capitalist and you invested in a company that had a valuation of $1 billion, that company could have sold, somebody bought them. Maybe that company got $500 million in cash and then somebody got debt for $500 million, right? Just give me this example. Maybe that debt last year at this time was 3%. Maybe that debt today is 6%. So the valuation of that company is not going to be $1 billion because they're banking on the $1 billion based on what they can get for debt and how much they're going to pay for it. So that leaks down into cars, gas, food, real estate, clothes, everything. So when things are more expensive, demand's going to go down. That's what's happening now. So that's why we say it's all about the rates, because rates are controlling everything right now. Mortgage rates stay relatively flat. So like I mentioned, this is probably interest rates at the beginning of the year. Like I said, we've been looking at this month over month over month. So we really understand what's going on. We actually look at this stuff probably more often than that. I'm studying, rate stuff daily, but interest rates did peak. They kind of went way up like a hockey stick and they've kind of slowed down. That's what we're looking at now. So they're bouncing around, but the 10-year Treasury fall has probably been anywhere from 275 to 3.20. It's been going back and forth. So if you got lucky and happened to lock in, it's 2.75. Your interest rate could have been a quarter to 3/8 in rate lower. So, it just depends on where you're at in your refi and purchase. Mortgage rates stay relatively flat. June 2nd, 22nd. Sam Cater, might have butchered your name, Chief Economist Freddie Mac. Mortgage rates continue to inch downward this week. And they've kind of got up since we've shot this. Still significantly higher than last year, affecting affordability and purchase demand. Heading into the summer, the potential home buyer pool has shrunk, supply is on the rise, and the housing market is normalizing. That is a good thing. That's me saying that, not the quote. This is welcoming news for the following unprecedented. Holy smoke. Unprecedented. Sorry, that's a tongue twister. Sorry, guys. Market tightness over the last couple of years. So economic uncertainty is causing mortgage rate volatility. We know that. Obviously, guys, the rates and all this stuff, they need to slow down inflation. Mortgage rates, if you're looking at this chart, bam, straight shot up, and we're seeing some flattening. Like I said, you're going to see flattening, a little bit up and down, but otherwise, I don't think you're going to see rates spike like this. I think you'll just see some up and down, depending on the data that's going on in the economy. Mortgage rates projections. Well, it's funny because Monty and I know this chart very well. When we looked at this for January, the highest rate I think was for NAR, and they thought by the fourth quarter this year, I think they thought the 30-year fix is going to be at 4%. Now they're saying 5.3. So these rates are all in the fives now. Well, somebody's actually thinking we're going to go years and years. They're thinking for the next 3 years, rates are going to stay here. I don't agree with that, but that's just my thoughts. That's because of the recession. I think the rates will come back down sooner. I don't think they're going to go down where they were, but I think we will see them come down. Mortgage rates, again, actual projected. So this is what's going on. There, as you guys know, unless you've been living on a rock, you kind of know what's going on with rates. Current mortgage rate compared to the last 5 decades, 1970s, 8.86, to 1980s, 12.7, 1990s, when they had a refi boom, when the rates went from double digits down to single digits, as you can see, 2000s when I got in the business, 2004, and then 2010s, and then it's been lower. So as you can see, from the 90s to now, rates have been declining, probably been making the housing market very robust and property values going up. For almost 50 years, the 30-year rate mortgage has moved basically in line with the 10-year treasury. The spread's 1.7. So we, as you guys may know or not know, we do, I look at the 10-year treasury. If it's going up or down, that means usually long-term rates, things like that. Rates can change daily, ARMs, long-term rates, just depends on how banks do it. But if you're doing a Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA loan, a lot of these other lenders, they're subject to market change daily. If not, if things are moving hourly, they're changing. 30-year for mortgage rate versus 10-year treasury over time. Are we in a housing market correction? This is the question that everybody wished they knew the answer to. A correction is a decline of 10% or greater in the price of a security asset or financial market. So I'm just sitting here looking at a chart, stock market, assets, anything. So, if we're in a correction, that means crypto corrected. I believe the stock market now is getting close to that correction. If it didn't correct, housing in some markets, maybe we're there. San Diego, I don't think we're there yet, but I think are we headed for a correction? We'll see. It really depends on how long these rates stay up here and supply demand. The housing market is at a turning point. We are starting to see signs of a new direction, but the ball is still in seller's courts in most housing markets. Chief economist at Realtor.com, Danielle Hill. Mortgage rates are likely to plateau near current levels. The financial markets have attempted to price in the impact of the Fed actions over this cycle, and they are likely also pricing in the economic slowdown that will result. Once we are past this rate spike and associated volatility, NBA expects that potential home buyers will be willing to re-enter the market. I agree. Basically, in English, what they're saying is rates have kind of plateaued. The housing market is, flattening. The overall market is starting to have corrections like stock market, crypto, we mentioned before. Your 401k is probably down. The consumer is starting to slow. Commodities like gas prices and food are out of control. So this is all having impacts. But on the other side of this, when we get through this, recession starts, whatever it may be, you will see a lot of new home buyers and stuff re-enter the market. So my prediction is there's a lot of buyers right now that missed the boat, where they didn't have a job, weren't ready. It was too crazy, couldn't buy a home. They missed out on the low rates. So now when this thing kind of turns around, whatever on the other side of this is, you're going to have a lot of people come off the sidelines into the market. I think you will see kind of like a buyer craze and a lot more competition. That's why we kind of say now might be a better time to buy a house, because there will be less competition. And if interest rates tick down a little bit and supply does not grow, demand will definitely increase in competition. Experts don't believe the market is in a bubble or a crash is in the cards like during the Great Recession. The nation is still suffering from housing shortage that has reached crisis proportions at the time. When many millennials are reaching the age when they start to consider home ownership, that's likely to keep prices high. Folks, there are so many kids that live at home. I do a lot of loans for kids that are living with mom and dad, even that make good money because they're just saving money. They moved out of their rentals, so it's more than you think. I don't know the number. I heard 52%, 50%, 40-something percent. Whatever the percentage, it's high. Eventually, these kids are going to get the hell out of the parents' house and go buy or rent. So if they're going to go rent, that's not helping, rent prices come down. If they're going to go buy, you're going to have millions and millions of millennials enter the market. What is a recession? The National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER, defines a recession as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. We will know officially if we're in a recession July 1st, right around there, when we have the GDP numbers back for second quarter. I believe we're already in one. I believe retail sales are down. I talk to friends that own marketing companies that work with big marketing companies. They're down 20%. Let me repeat, Facebooks and the Googles and all that stuff, the buyers that buy their marketing, that go on there and buy it, they're down 20%. I just got that number last night. Monty knows who I got it from. Wholesale retail, we believe the consumer's slowing. People are not going to be able to keep up with the food and the gas prices. Yeah, you can go eat rice and beans, yes, but if you're here in California and you got to go drive on a trip, you got to go drive for work, you got to go drive here or there, it's pretty hard to avoid. You can't go to one gas station that's $1 and you can't go to one that's $7. We could go to the grocery store and eat rice and beans and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and save a lot of money, but unfortunately, we know that we can't go to one gas station that's $1, another one that's $6. We're pretty much stuck, and that commodity is very expensive. Recession doesn't equal a housing crisis. Home prices changed during the last 6 recessions. We're actually just talking about this earlier, Monty. This is the chart that Dan wants. 1980, house prices are up 6.1. 1981, 3.5. Then it went to negative 1.9. Don't know the year. It was between 1981 and 2001, maybe the 90s. And there was a little recession in 96, I think. 2001, it was up 6.6. This one was 2009. We know that one. That was a housing crash. That was negative 19.7. In 2020, when we came out of that recession from COVID, 6% up. This is a good chart, but these two housing corrections, I think the one in 96 was 1.9 and this one 19.7. That was obviously the Great Recession. If you're looking to buy a home, I would still recommend you do so even at the higher interest rates, because we have no reason to believe that home prices will stop appreciating. Home values go up is only a problem when you're trying to buy a home. When you own, it's a gift. Here's one thing I will say about that. We just actually made videos. I think about this. It makes sense to buy a house now when the rates are higher. You're like, Kenny, are you insane? No, I'm not. The reason why we say that is because there is less competition. There is more inventory. There's less buyer demand, and there's price reduction going on. If and when buyer demand comes back, interest rates go back down, you will see more buyer demand, more competition, and basically you will not see as many price reductions. So they're even talking here when there might be a recession, and even with these rates, even at these rates, guys, if we do not get the what's the word, Monty, I'm thinking about? If we not get the inventory up, right? If we don't get the inventory up, even if rates stay at this level and we kind of hit a recession and there's maybe a little housing correction, it's 5-10%, let's just call that. Even at these rates, they're still saying that millennials are going to enter they're going to say, I feel better. I know what's happening. We went through the recession. I have my job. We're kind of on the other side of this. My confidence is back up. I want to go buy a house now. There is going to be a ton of people that do that. Even if the rates don't go down, you're going to have a lot more competition and buyer demand. Home sales. Here we go. Average days on the market, 17. I can't remember, Monty, where we're at before, but I feel like 17 has been pretty accurate, maybe 15, 13. So it's still been pretty fast. We're still pretty good. New homes selling fast. They're still selling quick. So this is still cranking along. Pending home sales. Boom, boom, boom. 100% historical healthy level. Cranking. I still love this chart. Percentage of distressed property sales. It's not even 1%, guys. So if you guys are thinking, oh, there's always foreclosure and short sales coming. If they're coming, we're not seeing them. This would help with inventory, but it's not coming. Maybe there will be some. If we hit a recession, I'm sure there will. This number will go up, but we don't know what the banks will do, if they'll work with them or not, but there is that. Home prices, here we go. Change in home prices. It's some markets are still going up. Look, guys, depending where you buy in San Diego, there's like a lot of competition too. Like if you're in the neighborhood, take Carmel Valley, Poway, where all the school districts are and stuff, it's still like a nightmare to buy a house because that's where people are focusing. So there's some areas that are just have higher demand, and that's mainly locations, schools, and things like that. That's going to have higher demand and, just more people focusing there to buy. Housing inventory. This is interesting. The seller traffic index, that one was always like this. But I think the one that we're more interested is there's a year over year. The buyer one is the one Monty and I are actually talking about this week. So we go through this and we like to see this. If we recall, even just last month, I believe, and I can't remember everything, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. But I believe we did not see a lot of light colors. I can tell you, like these states, they became light. So we're seeing more weak to very weak. Before it was like, basically, for sure, everything was at least stable to it was more strong to very strong. So we're starting to see the buyer weaken. I think that is a couple things. I think that's maybe fear of recession. I think that is cost of capital, AKA higher mortgage rates. Because if rates were low, I can tell you right now, people would be scooping these houses up. And people think, obviously, the housing market is peaked, and they want to kind of sit out on the sidelines and see what happens. So if you're wondering why the rental market is challenging and going up, that's because people are not buying right now. And the buyer demand, I guarantee you the rent demand is high. Where are these people going? They got to rent. Mortgage credit availability. Lending standards. Guys, I will tell you this over and over again. The last bubble, we've been over this a million times. The last bubble was really created by oversupply, really shitty lending standards. Just people should have not got loans. And today it's, it's not that easy to get a loan. So in the loans, if we're doing the non-QM, the bank statements or their stated loans out there, guys, they were doing, I think, like 1 trillion of those a year. We're doing like 100 billion or something. It's like a joke. It's nothing. So we're not even close. All the big banks are doing them. None of the big banks do any of this stuff. They're out of the game. So I don't think they're going to get back in either. Hot product. It's not a hot product. It's the ARMs versus the fixed debate. Who am I debating? I'm debating myself. So what I want to say is this. ARMs, if you don't know what they are, it stands for adjustable rate mortgages. And fixed is, if you didn't know what a fix is, it's a 30, 20-year, 15-year, 25-year fixed. So let me mention the ARMs because I think you know about them, you don't. So if you see on a piece of paper and you say, hey, Kenny, can you give me a quote? And I send you a 30-year fix. It says 30-year fix. The interest rate, I'm picking a rate, then 5%, and the payment's $3,000. Remember, I'm just using making up numbers here. And then I send you an ARM. It says 7/6 ARM. And I give you an interest rate of 4.25%. And I give you a payment of whatever, $2,500. Let me explain the ARM because a lot of people don't understand them. Some people think that an ARM just adjusts every single month. Is there an ARM that adjusts every single month out there? There is. That's not what I'm talking about. Is there an ARM that adjusts every 6 months? There is. That is not what I'm talking about. And that's not the product that I even offer. We offer pretty much 5, 7, and 10-year fixed ARMs. So what that means, whether it's a 5, 7, or 10, if you have a rate on the 7-year, like I mentioned, at 4.25%, it is fixed. That rate stays 4.25% for year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then on year 8, depending on your margin, your index, and all that, it changes. It can adjust up or down. And the 6 means, so if it's a 7/6, the 6 means it adjusts every 6 months. So most of the ARM these days are tied to the SOFR. That's the new index. It used to be the LIBOR. You can read more about it online. I'm not going to go in there. You just kind of type it in. What happened to LIBOR? They got rid of it. And SOFR is is it PHR or something? I apologize, but look it up. You can see the difference. But ARMs are not bad. People are going back, well, Kenny, I know somebody that lost a house or lost this or did this in 2008. Exactly, guys. There were teaser rate ARMs. Let me give an example. There's ARMs that says, hey, year 1, your rate's 2.5. Year 2, it goes to 4.5. And then it's fixed for 3 more years. And after that, then it goes adjustable and the rate could go high. So number 1, people banked on that teaser rate and they're like, oh, I'm just going to hold this house for a year and flip it and make all this money. Well, that didn't work out real great when the freaking housing market crashed. So there's also another thing called option ARM where people are actually paying below the minimum payment, the interest only payment. So they're deferring. Like, let's say on $1 million loan, your payment could have been $1,500, but you're deferring $1,500, $3,000, whatever is a month to your mortgage. When the housing market corrected, you're on an adjustable rate mortgage. You got that loan, you got the $1 million house to impress your friends and your family, but you could only afford it at a negative payment. So you couldn't even afford the interest only. You could afford below the interest only. Not smart. Don't do that. Crash, boom. So we were doing all these crappy kind of loans, all these mortgages, these teaser rates. That's what hurt. We're also qualifying people on interest only payments. Today, when you do a loan and you're doing an interest only loan, not only do we qualify you in a 20-year term, we always hit you 2% higher. So it's almost like qualifying in a 15-year fixed. We didn't do that before. We were literally qualifying you on an interest only payment. And so if it ever adjusted in principal and interest, you never could afford the loan. So it was so much different back then. It was so manipulated, and it was meant to fail. And the people that built these products, they knew it was going to fail. They're literally on video saying this is not going to end well. So ARMs are not all bad. Why would you do an ARM? The interest rate's lower. You believe that rates are going to come down in a year, 2 or 3. Then you can take advantage of a lower payment, lower rate, and you can refi into a fixed then. So guys, if you don't know about ARMs, get educated. You need to get more questions answered. Reach out to me anytime, here to help. So people are doing a lot of ARMs, especially on investment properties, doing a lot of the 7/6 ARMs, have a very good product, good lender. It's got some smoking rates there. How to reach me, mentioned before, call me, email me, hit me up on the internet. DM me, whatever you like to do. If you want a copy of this, please reach out to us. We'll send one. And as always, thanks for watching. Again, Kenny Simpson with the Simpson team at C2 Financial. And in recap, I think what we're going to be seeing is interest rates are going to be taking a toll on the buyer, affordability. And I think by the time we go next, when we have this meeting next time, we will know where we stand with the GDP numbers. We will know if we're in a recession. And we will see if the psyche of the consumer is really slowing, the psyche of the buyer is getting scared, and what the psyche of the seller is doing, and see what this does for the overall housing market. But if you guys ever have any questions, please reach out to me. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.